Hello everyone, Mark with Kardavox Academy here, and today is an exciting day because I get to do another student spotlight. For anybody who is new to the channel, again, my name is Mark. I am a full-time harsh metal vocal coach. It's all I do for a living, make these videos and teach people how to go safely and efficiently so they don't hurt themselves. I'm also the vocalist in a band called Kardavox on Metal Blade Records. And every once in a while, a student that I work with or have worked with previously releases music and utilizes their voice for something amazing. A lot of my students are hobbyists. They just want to scream along in their car. But I get a handful of students who are actually in bands or looking to be in bands and are looking to produce music and make videos and all this stuff. And today I want to talk about a student of mine, a previous student of mine, Sarah of Enthronement. We'll get into all the details once we actually get started because I'm excited to hear this song. I've heard about the first 30 to 45 seconds of it. And then I said, hey, let's reach out. And part of the reason I've waited or let's do a video. And part of the reason I waited is when she came to me for lessons, she was working on this song. And we worked on getting her voice ready for this song. We worked a lot. She was a heavy practicer. It is also worth mentioning that she did also, I don't know if it was simultaneously or before or something, but she did take lessons also with Screamy Mimi, who is on TikTok. And that is very common. It's very, very common for people to try out different coaches and things like this. But I reached out to her prior to doing this video and I said, hey, I want to do this, but I don't want to take undue credit. And I said, hey, like, let me ask you these things. And she said, yes, the lessons were helpful. So hell yeah. I'm excited to hear what this song sounds like fully produced. I'm excited to see, what her hard work and what our lessons produced. And let's do it. Let's check out Wraith by Enthronement. No more YouTube cuts because I'm tired of editing them. Here we go.
Should have never read to come to me, but it eats me up inside.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there. Sorry, Sarah, if you're watching this. Sorry, I know. And the reason I'm pausing is this is about as far as I got on my first lesson. And it was at this point that I was like, okay, I want to do a video on this. I'm super excited. So I want to tell y'all something. Obviously, like I said, Sarah and I worked together, but what you're hearing is the result of a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of focus, right? So Sarah and I were working primarily on getting these pitched, distorted, roaring sort of shout screams, exactly what you're hearing here. And the whole process was actually incredibly exploratory. We started with some false chord stuff, some basic, and then tried dropping down into it from a yodel, to create sort of a shout. At some point, she had some fry tones come in, some very distinctive fry tones. And we said, okay, let's explore that. And so rather than being like, this is how, pulling up a vocalist, being like, that's what they do, let's match that. We really just sort of treated her voice like an open world video game. And we just followed the paths that it showed us. And I think it allowed her to get a very nice, powerful sound. I'm hearing even airflow. I'm hearing excellent placement. I'm hearing timbre changes, right? We're going from like a strong roaring mid to not quite a high scream, but a brighter, more pingy scream, right? And these are all the results of, her putting in a lot of work on breath, her putting in a lot of work on tone control, right? And I'm also very impressed by the overall composition of the song. I love the the tone she's choosing for the melody. I didn't help her write anything. Sometimes with my students, I will help them write parts for their songs, but all the writing is entirely of her own and her band's doing. And I think it's really cool. Let's keep going though, because I want to point out some of the interesting things about her voice that I noticed during lessons that I want you all to notice as well. So here we go.
I'm receding like a shadow when I shine on the light. I'm an animal afraid that the hand could strike. I'll stop living as a wraith this time. I'm not as safe to my wires. I'm entangled in the night. Keep on reaching for me, feeding me underneath. Keep on reaching for me, feeding me underneath your table. I beg and plead for your sustenance, but you can't promise me your safety. I'm receding like a shadow when I shine on the light.
Okay, let's actually pause there. So there are a couple things that I really enjoy about the way she is singing. We didn't work a lot on her clean singing voice. I do some clean singing work, but I usually leave that for, we have a vocal coach here at Kardavox Academy. Her name is Verona. She does pretty much all of the clean singing lessons. You can check out some of her videos. She covers a lot of like symphonic metal and stuff. Sleep Token, that sort. Sleep Token is not symphonic metal. She just does that too. But one thing I really like about Sarah's singing voice, and this in my lessons with her had a direct correlation to when she was able to find a comfortable screaming voice, is that she's got a very relaxed and fairly dark singing tone, right? She's not super low, she's not deep in her chest or anything, but just the natural coloring, the natural texture of her voice is like this very rich, very sort of, I want to say earthy. That doesn't make sense because earthy is not a tone, but I think you know what I mean. And that generally, the tone that she has generally is coming from a good amount of relaxation. And that's one of the main things that she did an excellent job of overcoming was tension and squeezing the wrong parts of her throat, putting too much pressure on those vocal cords. You know, when we found something that sounded kind of like a fry scream, it was a sound that a lot of people often mistake for an actual fry scream, which is the croaky, like squeaky on the actual vocal cords, right? Not very useful. So she's done an excellent job of creating similar creaky tones. We did a lot of like pirate voices. We did a lot of like, picking up boxes figuratively, things like this. And she's done a good job of creating similar creaky, screechy, banshee tones for these higher spaces, but using tissues above, not actually on those vocal folds, right? Which is excellent. And you can hear that difference very clearly. There was one little spot here where her voice had a little bit of a break. There was a little bit of like a sort of yodel in the sound. And I gotta be honest, I love that sound. I will take like like a sort of like onset, like a onset. You hear this a lot with Johnny Davey of Job for a Cowboy. You hear this sometimes as well with Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation. Not as much, but sometimes. And it's a sound that I absolutely love. And I'm glad that she's letting a lot of that nuance through. Also, excellent open vowels on these screams. Excellent open vowels. That was a big thing. Vowels, utilizing different funny voices, like screaming like you're from New York, right? Screaming like you're from New York. Now, if anybody in New York is watching this, I know that many of you don't sound like this. And in fact, in 5 years of teaching, I've never had a student from New York that actually even sounded like that, right? But this very stereotypical sort of TV, hey, I'm walking here. Hey, I'm walking here. Hear how it's forward, but it's also open and relaxed. Whenever I do this, somebody's like, that's actually Boston. Joke's on you. It's a cartoon accent from nowhere. It's just something you see on Seinfeld, right? Actually, man, I don't know. Anyway, I got a funny story about New Jersey, but I'll save that for another day. But essentially, we take this very stereotypical, hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. I'm walking here. And when we do that, we get really nice, comfortable vowels that sound aggressive, but don't put a lot of strain and squeeze on the actual vocal tracks because we want to drive from the gut, right? This is something and it's really cool to hear the stuff that we worked on, mostly she worked on, being put into practice. This is awesome. Let's keep going.
I'm an animal afraid that the hand could strike. I'll stop living as a wraith this time. I'm not a slave to my wires. I'm entangled in I drift as the wraith. I settle into the earth and I drag you down.
Oh, those scrapes.
I drift as the wraith. I settle into the earth and I drag you down. When the wolves come in, they burrow through and bury you.
Y'all, I have not heard that part. Those were some sick patterns. I don't know if that was on, because I heard some pre-production in our lessons. I don't know if I heard that part. I don't think I did.
I settle into the earth and I drag you down. I drift as the rain. I settle into the earth and I drag you down.
Nice.
When the wolves come in, they burrow through and bury you.
That's really cool. I think the lyrics were, I'm pretty sure I heard it right. I always second guess myself with metal, but I settle into the earth and I drag you down. Really cool. I don't know if that was intentional, but really cool legato, right? I settle into the earth and I drag you down. Wasn't quite that staccato, but it was punchy. That's a cool thing to do with lyrics matching vocal tone, right? And this is something that I talk a lot with my students about. It's like being a vocalist isn't just making cool screams. It's about making cool screams that convey a cool message or do something artistic, right? And a good example of this going very poorly, in my opinion, is a very famous song by Katy Perry. Sorry, Katy Perry, I got nothing against you. The way this portion of this example is going to work is just weird. But way back in the day when I was in college, the olden days, Katy Perry has a song, and I don't remember exactly how it goes. The lyrics are, I'm falling from cloud 9, ready for the high. I don't even remember the melody, but there's this one part where Katy sings the lyrics, when I woke up on the concrete. That's not good. That's not a good place to be. Nobody wants to wake up on the concrete, but the way she delivers it is, when I woke up on the concrete. And, you know, back in the clubs, I had a brief clubbing stage, lasted about 2 weeks. And then I was like, this is lame. When that line came out, everybody was like, on the concrete. And like, from the perspective of getting the crowd hyped, it worked. But from like a lyrical perspective, it's like, it doesn't mesh. So this, drag you down, it kind of sounds like I think of like a shovel, like digging, drag you down, or like, you know, like pushing someone into like a pit, right? Like, drag you down. It sounds aggressive, and it's an aggressive line. You don't always have to do that. Contrast can be good, and oftentimes is, but in this space, especially where it was placed, really cool writing, very cool writing. Hats off. I know I paused it already, and I'm making an editing hellscape for myself, but listen. Now, part of the length of that is reverb tail. Okay. Part of the length of that is reverb tail, but that's a pretty solid, listen to the evenness of that scream. Yes, we've got a couple vocal layers. Yes, we've got a reverb tail, but that doesn't change what had to be recorded to make that happen. Right? And what we have here is a very nice, very, very solid scream. Awesome.
I'm an animal afraid that the hand could strike. I'll stop living as a wraith this time. I'm not a slave to my wires. I'm entangled in mine. I'm receding like a shadow when I shine on the light. I'm an animal afraid that the hand could
It had to be intentional to drag you down. Oh, hell yeah. This is not at all related to the content, but I just found this guy's channel. You know, we're not going to talk about. If you saw that thumbnail at the end, check it out. But it has nothing to do with this. So let me just turn this off because who cares about that stupid. Oh, that's the Enterprise. Whoops. There we go. Anyways, so yeah, excellent job. This is one of my favorite parts of the job, is seeing the stuff that my students come up with. I've done a couple of these before. Recently, I did a student spotlight of the band Obey the Kraken. Check it out. But again, I want to reiterate here that a large portion of the reason why Sarah did so well is that, yes, she took lessons, and yes, you know, I was helpful to her, but she put in a lot of hard work. She was practicing as pretty consistently. I mean, sure, there were times when, you know, work got crazy, family life got crazy, but she put in a lot of hard work. She was inquisitive with her voice. She was open to making mistakes, and this has gotten her to a spot where this isn't their only song. They've got a couple other music videos that they've released, and you all should really go check them out. And they just did they just did a tour about a month ago. Anyways, I'm rambling. Excellent job, Sarah, and to the rest of the members of Enthronement. I'm very excited to see what y'all come up with and what you do. Proud vocal coach moment. But again, 90% of the work was you. And that's all I got. Great screams, great placement, excellent airflow. Many thanks, much love. I'm out.